Hello.
Bonjour. Oh dear, I've got the volume turned up on my bloody monitor here. You don't want to hear that, anybody. Let me just turn that off. Otherwise you'll get an echo. Amateurs. Sack him. Cool. Hi and welcome to the D&D show. Episode 4, stream 4. Exciting, we're still here. Wow, it's been a month.
Oh my
That's
god.
our anniversary.
It is, yeah, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought it?
Happy anniversary, everyone.
And Sean was our little anniversary gift.
He was.
Aw.
It was. Yeah, it's after a year. The first year's Cotton. And the first week is Sean.
Yeah, that's it. Month anniversary. You get Sean.
All right, welcome to everyone. We've got at least one person in the chat. I don't know how many viewers we've got, but there's at least one there at the moment. There's some people have been sharing us about on Twitter a minute ago, so maybe we'll get some more. D&D show. I'm your host or co-host. I'm the GM of the game, DM Lukey Baby. Thanks for joining us. We are in, as I said, episode 4 of our adventure through the beginner's starter set, The Lost Mine of Phandalin. Today I have with me James.
Hello, yes, how you doing, mate? Your friendly house paladin.
Hey.
Late.
Lisa.
Hi, I am here.
How you doing?
I'm a bard.
You're the bard. Sean.
Hey, how you doing? It's Puck. He's so small you're not quite sure how far away he is.
Is he really small, really far away? But who knows?
Find out this episode.
How's the duck this week?
Yeah, great. I've not really seen it. I think I left it in the bag.
I had. Sorry, I'm like not introducing Gavin. Sorry, mate, but you can wait. Sorry. All right. I had an interesting idea today that I read something which inspired me. Now, next level, not this level because. Third, so when you turn 4th level, you get the ability to either put some of your ability scores up or take a feat. Where now feats give you certain special abilities. Now one of the feats is called Magic Initiate, I think, which can basically give you some wizard stuff. So in theory, if you wanted, you could take that and then you could get your familiar, and then you could make your duck your familiar, and then you'd be able to do like cool wizard shit with it.
Amazing.
As an idea.
Magic.
Anyway, get that off my chest. Gavin, how you doing,
I'll
Gavin?
write that down.
Yeah, I'm right, mate. You're a friendly neighbourhood dwarf. Yeah. Nice to throw shit. I managed to throw a rock last week, so yeah, let's see what I can throw this week.
Yeah, there was some throwing going around. I don't know, was there much throwing last week? There was
only a rock.
Just a rock. We'll see what we can achieve.
Some testicles.
Brilliant. So, over the past week, we did get some comments on Facebook in result to our YouTube post that we put up, which the sound was crap. And largely, I think a lot of it is down to YouTube compress the file when they put it up, which just fucks everything up. But it did give us the kick up the arse to get our arse in gear. So we put a lot of effort in the last week trying to work on that. We've done some test recordings tonight, which is why we're late. And it sounds a lot better. But on top of that, everybody except from me is using a nice shiny professional microphone, so hopefully you'll all appreciate the effort we've put in. I do have one on order, but it won't be here till next week, unfortunately. I was a little bit slow. I was trying to get some people to knock some money off of on a website, and they weren't having none of it, so I gave up and just ordered off of Amazon in the end. We've got Lukaroo, my friend Luke, in the chat, and we've got at the moment Lecky Macon, which I believe is our Dutch friend, I think, from Denmark. Is that right? Are they Dutch, Denmark, or Danish? I don't know. Sorry if I've insulted you. I don't know. I'm really sorry.
But don't ask me geography questions, Luke.
No. He does say that sound is great. So cool. Brilliant.
Hey, thanks.
Excellent. Lovely.
And Flack 30 is here as well. So that is...
Hello, Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey, I'll say he's your friend. I've been chatting to him a lot on Twitter the past week as well. He's seems like a really nice guy. I've been chatting to him about he started up his own game and stuff that he's playing. I'm trying to convince him to stream, but he's not quite sure if he wants to do it or not. So cool, we've got a few people. Lovely. Who wants to fill us in on stuff? Should we do
Not me.
Well, you did it last week, didn't you? But I like
2 weeks in a row.
let's do let's do a dice roll. See who highest roll for it.
Hey.
What did you roll?
Beat a 2. Oh yeah, new rules.
Oh, I roll. Sorry.
2.
Sorry, chap.
Surely it's the lowest roll, isn't it?
No.
Not in this game.
Unless he gets a 1, then yes.
Keep you in suspense because I'm so too dumb to write it in. There we go.
Scapes with a 7. Looks like it's going to be Gavin.
Luther's not even rolling.
I am insane. It was so stressful last week. I was like,
So the week before, we'd been washed down the river in the cave while we were looking for Sildar and the other guy. Gundren, yes. And whilst Millicent was outside, bumped into a little fellow named Pock, who turned out to be, what is he? Is he a shapeshifter?
He's a gnome
shapeshifter.
Druid. He has a spell that does it.
And he has some spells that change into animals. So, he decided to tag along with us because he was bored. I think there was a backstory.
Who knows?
I give a fuck though, Sean.
Probably.
And he came along for the ride. So we came upon some goblins. We gave them a bit of a kick in, but then they decided to show us that they had one of our guys, which was Sildar, and basically said, "Go and kill this bloke for us, otherwise we'll kill your bloke." Off we went and did some arse kicking. Basically, went off to visit the big dude. Who was the bugbear's name again?
Clarg.
Clarg, yeah. We went off to see Clarg and quite literally handed him his testicles on a plate. As Pock turned into a gigantic bear and kicked some arse. Then we kicked the shit out of his direwolf and basically got Sildar back and left the goblins happy.
Pretty much, yeah. You left the cave, and that was where we ended, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty accurate representation of what happened. So a couple of points on stuff that happened last time, actually, just I need to remember. Bears are large creatures, so I need reminding next time you turn into a bear that I need to make your token bigger, because I left you as a small token, so you should have been bigger. I think the same with the direwolf. Doesn't make a massive amount of difference. Somebody else commented as well is when you do wild shape, you take on the physical attributes of the animal, so it didn't matter too much because I think the area we were in was all quite lit anyway because there was candles and a fire and stuff, but there's a possibility that your bear didn't have night vision, so you probably would have been quite blind as the bear.
Okay.
So we need to keep an eye on little things like that. But it was all brought to my attention. And again, I've said it in previous weeks, one of the points of doing this show was to learn the rules, and for any new people who might want to watch and learn how to play. So we'll try and keep us honest, guys, when we make mistakes. But otherwise, that was pretty good. Now, what about doing a quick recap from the beginning, Sean? As this past week, Sean has gone through the effort of editing all of the audio from the past 3 weeks into MP3 format so we can release it as a podcast. So you should have the best memory of everybody as to what's happened from the beginning. Do you reckon you can fill us in?
Yeah, I'll give it a go. So to start with, I believe that Burr's brothers, Burr has some family that wanted him to head to what's the place that begins with a P?
Phandalin.
To mine some stuff. This is the bit I'm a bit clueless about, the backstory before the game started. So I believe that you were all heading to Phandalin. You met Sildar and Gundren in a tavern. You all cut your hands to prove that you were all who you said you were. And just before Gundren cut his hand, he legged it out of the tavern, leading you to all chase him.
Yeah, so Gundren didn't. It was one of Gundren's guards did.
Hey, guys.
Okay. So you catch up with him, beats 7 shades of shit out of him into the alley, in an alleyway, where he transforms. I believe he's a shapeshifter. He transforms from what you see into, I can't remember what.
So a doppelganger, Play-Doh.
A doppelganger.
Think like Morph from
right.
Kitchen.
I can't remember what he told you, but I know that you then. I mean, feel free to step in if I'm getting all this wrong. Is very much the basic points of what happened. You guys then you had to get the cart down to I've forgotten the name of the place already. God,
Phandalin.
Phandalin. You travelled for a few days until you come across a horse and cart that had been turned over, ransacked, dead horses, the lot, which you found out belonged to Sildar and Gundren, who set off the night before you. Their bodies were missing. There was a lot of blood and some tracks leading into the forest, which you followed. And then we ended up at the cave.
And the rest has already been done by Gavin.
And the rest is, yeah.
Pretty accurate.
Now, how wrong was that?
No, it was pretty good. A couple of corrections as well. I think we went through it, so that's cool. Cool. So I'm kind of interested to see, because just a lot of the stuff that you have been told already, at least I'm hoping I've told you some of this information already and didn't just neglect to, may come up. So it's important to be taking your notes and try and remember some of the names that I've been giving you and things like that.
The trouble with taking notes is that I can barely read my own writing because I'm trying to go so fast.
Yeah, I've got notes from last time where we left off.
Cool. That's all right.
I think, from what the goblins told us at the end, I've got all that written down.
Brilliant. Also, some other announcements is things seem to be going well. Where we've picked up a few followers and stuff. Now, during the coronavirus and all this crap that's going on, for those of you who don't know, WotC, D&D people, Wizard of the Coast, and the website D&D Beyond, and other partners like Roll20 have been releasing free content every day, Monday to Friday. They're releasing loads of free content. One of the things that they've done partners with Roll20, and this was actually a few weeks ago now, they released the official Lost Mine of Phandalin module with all the maps in it and all of the information, all of the story and the characters, the NPCs and everything for free on their website. And I had, before that had happened, kind of put it all in myself, and that's what we had been playing. But we've transferred over to the official one today because it's going to make my life as a DM a lot easier, and it looks a little bit better, which is cool. And then from that, I was like, you know what, fuck it, we're professionals. So I've also signed up to a paid plus membership on Roll20 as well. So you'll see some changes from that today, which means that depending on where we get to today, you might not actually see it in action today. But if we get into like dungeony type stuff like last week with the cave, you've now got something called dynamic lighting, which on its own is probably worth £4 a month, to be honest. It basically means I don't need to do the fog of war any longer and be slowly revealing places. You can now, as you move your token around, it will tell you what you see as your token. It's really quite flashy. Good. However, I don't know how well, when I've been playing with it over the past few days, it works okay on my laptop. How it will work on your computers or not, I don't know. If it really slows everything down to a clunk and stuff, we can turn it off, which will ease your processor power. So we'll just see how we get on with it. At the same time, as you're moving around, it updates on everybody else's screen as well. So if it does start affecting the stream, it might be a case of just turning it off. But I don't think we're going to use it today anyway. So to show our viewers what that is kind of looking at, let's go to the Roll20 overlay. So you'll see that this is just the front page now. We've got a nice proper thing in there, which I'm allowed to use. I was dubious about using too many official things before because I hadn't paid for any of it, but now I have. There it is. That's the official starting page. So it would just kind of montage the end of the last week. You don't need to kind of go through every step you take back through the bushes and stuff to get back to your cart. Did you found all of the boxes and everything in the cave? You decided that you were just going to leave it there and not do anything with that. Was that right? I mean, it was going to take a lot of work to move it.
Yeah, we took the coins and the potions.
Took the cash, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, cool. So you head back through the brushes.
And the little frog.
Little frog with the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was no
jade frog with the gold.
There was no map though.
Yeah, no map. That's right. Sildar is all, it can barely move. You're pretty much carrying him. I think you said, Pock, that you were going to turn into a horse and carry him, which is a good idea. He's basically unconscious. He's been beaten, he's been tortured, he's not eaten and drunk all day, and so thematically in terms of the rules, he would have a couple levels of exhaustion, which if it ever happens, you guys will discuss what that actually has in the effects, but it gives you like loads of disadvantage and stuff like that. So he's beaten and largely unconscious. So you carry him back through the brush. It took you about an hour to get back to the ambush site where you left your cart and everything, and miraculously you've only actually really been gone for probably about 3 or 4 hours, probably not that long at all. It's all still there, unharmed. It's mid-afternoon, so you were about half a day ride out from Phandalin, you reckon? You can still get there by mid to late evening if you want to push through, or you could move on, camp a little bit outside if you wanted to, and then arrive in the morning. It's really up to you how you feel about that, bearing in mind that potentially time is still of the essence. So what do you want to do?
I say we crack on, get there.
Weren't we told that Gundren was taken to the north? Am I remembering that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
so you did get... Go on.
Yeah, they were taken to a castle, weren't they, or something?
Cragmaw Castle. That's where the map is. Is that right?
Yes. So that I don't think you ever got his name. You didn't bother asking. Rude. But the little goblin you were talking to, called Yemik, did tell you as part of the bargain for his life, basically, that he didn't know where it was. It's above his pay grade, but he does know that Gundren and the map were sent to Cragmaw Castle, which is from where you are, it's sort of north up into the proper forest. Let me go over to the world map for everybody. So you guys should come over there now. So you should see that I have added a little bit of extra for the Cragmaw hideout on there for you, so you can see where that is now. So he did tell you, so basically Cragmaw Castle is an old derelict keep in the actual woods. So all this area that you're in is all just brush. Some of it is small bits of forest area, but it's really largely, the actual forest proper is there. Yeah, proper dense, thick, magical, dark woods, which nobody goes in because people say the forest is alive itself. The castle is in there. He doesn't know where it is exactly. It's above his pay rise, but if you need to find them, that's where they are. So how you're going to go about finding that is down to you. But you've also got a guy who needs proper medical assistance.
Yeah, I think we need to get to Phandalin, really, like with the cart and him.
Agreed.
At least get that part of our quest finished before we think about what to do next. I mean, we need to know what the state of what things are happening in Phandalin anyway.
Sure.
Because
and hopefully once we've got Sildar there, he might be able to tell us a little bit anyway as well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, like I said, early mid-afternoon. If you march on, according to the map, it reckons it's 25 miles, which would be about a day. But we'll fudge that and say that you could get there by nightfall. All right. So sort of after a couple of hours, Sildar does start coming to a bit. But he can barely talk, and he will ask you for some food and for some water and things like that.
Yeah, well, he can have some rations, definitely. I'll give him one ration, like one pack of rations or whatever it is.
Okay. Do you talk about anything on the way down there? Do you want to get anything off your chest? That'll be a no. A resilient no. Okay.
That's out the window. No, it's been a long day. We're riding silence.
Yeah, well, that was all pretty crazy back there, wasn't it, everyone?
Yeah, I've never seen a bear bite someone's dick off.
Yeah, good work.
Funny enough, I've never bitten a dick off before.
That's really
that's the last time I'll be doing that.
Yeah, you should probably. Yeah, you were very good at it. Well done.
It's strange that that's the first thing you went for. Maybe we should read into this.
It was high level. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. You were a bear, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah. No. What are you, a
Neat
Care
trick.
So, I mean, how comes you were sneaking around outside, like down this road anyway, where there's not that many people come through here at the moment, especially with all the bandits? How comes you're out alone?
Well, you see, I was on my way to Phandalin. I've recently left Neverwinter, and I have a few questions that I want answered, and I've been told that if I head to Phandalin and find a job, maybe some work can come of it, and maybe I can answer some of these questions that I'm yet to answer. I'm a man of knowledge, and this is the one thing I don't know.
Well, interestingly enough, we're actually going to meet some of our business associates in Phandalin anyway. Maybe we could get you a job.
Excellent. I'd love to come along if you'll have me.
Especially after the help you've given us.
Oh, no
I
worries.
think you'll be a handy guy to know.
Introductions is the least we could do, I think.
I was just flicking through the chat and stuff.
Luke's gone. He's left.
Top grade roleplay. He's just
Look at us. Luke, we did voices and everything. Come on.
I know. And you know what,
There is a
actually?
round of applause.
As you're saying that, Lekke Makon It's reminding me, this is really why anyone remember to give players points of inspiration for good role-playing, especially if they play their disadvantage or play their alignment, even though it is to their disadvantage. Turning into a horse to carry Sildar might make me hand out inspiration if I was the GM. Winky
Oh, I
face.
forgot.
So,
Well,
it's a good piece of advice, Licky Macon, so why not? I think that's a good idea. So, Pop can have a piece of inspiration for that, and so can Scapes, because he kind of engaged that little piece of role-playing there as well.
Yay. Thank you.
That's all well and good. If you could just explain to me what that means, that'd be great.
So on your character sheet, up near the top, you'll see something that says inspiration. Now, inspiration you either have or you don't have. You can't have it more than once. You just have it or you don't. Basically, what it means is that at any time you choose, you can roll with advantage. You can trade it in and say, I want to roll advantage. So that would then mean you roll 2 d20s and take the higher result. So you can use it on an attack. You could use it on a knowledge check or something like that. So it's pretty good to have. I think, and someone needs to correct me on this, that I believe you may even be able to use it to make me roll with disadvantage on something as well, but I would like to have that checked. But you can only use it once. Once it's used, it's gone. All right. I do
it's
believe...
worth pointing out it's different from Bardic Inspiration as well.
It is different from the Bardic
Inspiration. Yeah, is there a time limit, or...
No, you just have it. You just have it until you use it. But I mean, the more you use it, the more I'll possibly be prompted to remember to give you some. Because that's the thing, is when no one ever uses it because they go, I'm going to hold them to it special, and then I just forget to give them out.
Right. Or we'll just demand it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Keep me fresh on it. Reminds me. So that's cool. And when actually I was listening to the recordings, I said earlier on that Sean was doing, and in the first episode, Lisa, Millicent, I did give you inspiration, and I don't think you ever used it.
I did actually.
Did you?
I'm pretty sure I did, unless I'm thinking of another game. She's cheating.
I don't remember using it, but
let me look at my old character sheet, but I don't think so.
The frontier town of Phandalin is built on the ruins of a much older settlement. Hundreds of years ago, the old Phandalin was a thriving human town whose people were firmly allied with the dwarves and gnomes of the Phandelver's Pact. What is that? Who knows? Would anybody like to roll a history check to see if you know what the Phandalver?
I think...
I've got a +6 if you want me to.
Yeah, so just...
Yeah, go ahead, you roll it.
Lovely.
There you go.
19.
Nice.
Okay. So, over 500 years ago, a pact was made between a clan of gnomes and dwarves, which became known as the Phandelver Pact. Together, they mined the magically rich ores within Waveecho Cave. Human spellcasters from nearby Phandalin joined forces with them, and together, they combined their collective skills to create a forge to craft magical items, dubbed the Forge of Spells. Everything came to an abrupt end when orcs, craving magical treasures, seized Phandalin and the Waveecho Cave mine. The battle destroyed Phandalin and much of the mine as well, causing various cave-ins throughout. Very few survived the conflict to relate the tale. The Forge of Spells became legend, and the entrance to Waveecho Cave was lost. There we go. All right, so Phandalin is basically an old settlement that was destroyed by orcs 500 years ago or something stupid. So in the last 3 or 4 years, hardy settlers from the cities of Neverwinter and Waterdeep have begun the hard work of reclaiming the ruins of Phandalin. A bustling frontier settlement has grown up on the site of the old town and is home now to farmers, woodcutters, fur traders and prospectors drawn by stories of gold and platinum in the foothills of the Sword Mountains. So as you approach, the rutted track emerges from a wooded hillside, and you catch your first glimpse of Phandalin. The town consists of 40 or 50 simple log buildings, some built on old fieldstone foundations, more old ruins, crumbling stone walls covered in ivy and briars surround the newer houses and shops, showing how this must have been a much larger town in centuries past. Most of the newer buildings are set on the sides of the cart track, which widens into a muddy main street of sorts as it climbs towards a ruined manor house on a hillside at the east side of town. As you approach, you see children playing on the town green and townsfolk tending to chores or running errands at shops. Most people look up at you as you approach, but all return to their business as you go by. Sildar realises where he is. He says to you, he's kind of, I'm assuming someone will be in the back, as you put into the town, he said, "My friends, let us secure lodgings. I'm told that the local inn is very, very quaint. take me to the inn so that I can sleep and rest. And I'll send word to the town.
I think he wants to go to the inn.
I just want to go to bed. I don't want to drink. I just need to go to bed. I need to sleep.
I'm weary
get some
as
food.
well. I need to sleep.
And he thanks you. Thank you very much for rescuing me. And this is what conversations you would have had on the way down once he woke up. He thanks you for rescuing him and for giving him food and bringing him down here.
Well, there's no problem there. Just rest up and tell us everything you can in the morning.
Yes.
Just find an inn.
Find me. I will retire for a couple of days. I need to speak.
A couple of days?
Well, I'll see how I feel tomorrow. But I have business that I need to tend to. Of course, finding Gundren is of utmost importance. If you've already done so much already, we can talk more about that. Otherwise, I have my own business I needed to attend to here in the town as well. I need to speak to a colleague of mine from the Lord's Alliance, Iarno, who has not responded to any messages recently. I need to track him down, so I will be around in the town master's hall. So as you come in, so if you see the map there now, we've got Phandalin. Everything's labelled for you to make it simple. You come in from the north where it says to Tribal Trail. As you go past the first building there, as you come into town, you've gone past that to get to the inn. You're heading to, so Sildar recommends you go to the Stonehill Inn, which is in the corner of the town square there. But you would have noticed Barthin's provisions probably as you went past. Does anybody remember Barthin? The name Barthin?
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Oh, wasn't he the one sponsoring the cart?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah,
Look at you! Oh my god.
Yeah, so Barthin was
listening to the podcast over and over.
Barthin is
endless.
Someone's got to. He'll be taking over. Next, I've already reckon. Once this is finished and we go to our next campaign, it'll be Sean DMing, I reckon. Telling you.
As soon as I learn what inspiration is.
Well, that is where we've got to offload the cart then, is it?
Yes, so basically Barthin, you were told, is Gundren's partner. He's sponsored the dig, so Gundren had told you how they found a mine. It was really big, it was going to change everything, bring lots of money to the area. The Lord's Alliance were interested. Lord Neverember, who's trying to fix up and take over Neverwinter City, has basically approved it.
We should get these guys to pay for our inn for the night at least, shouldn't we?
Yes.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think we start asking.
Okay.
Let's
We've
go.
got the trouble of rescuing someone for them.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So you're just dropping off Sildar at the inn and then going back up to Barthin's provisions.
We'll push him out as we drive past.
Okay. That's fine. So we'll come back to the inn at another time.
We just dropped him off and we're just talking about how annoying he was.
Yeah. So what did you want to know? Did you want to ask me any questions for you to clear up?
I think we just want to drop the stuff off to the provisions place, right? Get rid of it and crack on.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, so...
And try and get some coin out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so it is late, very late in the evening. The sun is setting, and as you pull up back under, you would have noticed as you drove past, they did look up and look at you kind of quizzically. And then as you go back, they're literally just sweeping up outside and carrying the last few bits of supplies that they had kind of outside the shop back in, ready to lock up. And there's a couple of boys.
Fetch your master, boys.
Okay, and this balding human male shopkeeper of 50 years with a kindly manner comes out to talk to you. Oi, oi, lads. Ladies, sorry.
That's fine.
Just shutting up shop. You're going to have to catch us in the morning, I'm afraid. If you're looking for lodging, probably best off down at the inn there. I would stay away from... go to the Stonehill place, that's a good one, but I wouldn't recommend going to the other inn if I were you. When the DM can remember what it's called,
I lean over to Millicent and go, "It's a Welsh bloke."
Is this Welsh? This is my best West Country accent. This is because originally what I really wanted to do was like a Wild West kind of American accent, and then I remembered that I can't do one of those. So this is the best you're gonna get.
Well, good man, we've come bringing goods from Neverwinter. after a real hard, bloody road, and I think you should take these things in now and give us our pay.
Oh, you be Gundren's boys. Oh, brilliant. He's not arrived yet. Was he with you in the Gundren in the back of the cart there, or?
I'm afraid a terrible misfortune appears to have beset Gundren. We were fortunate enough to catch up with. Well, we were fortunate enough to catch up with Sildar and rescue him from.
The Sleeping Giant Inn, that's the place. Don't go there. That place shithole. Sorry.
That's got dementia.
You carry on.
Don't you hate when something's in your head like that? You just got to say it.
This is it. It would be keeping me up all night otherwise. I'll be banging on your door and I'll be like, oh, it's the Sleeping Giant. Unless you were sleeping at the Sleeping Giant, of course, in which case I would tell you that I wouldn't bother.
Okay.
Sorry, you were saying, my love. So this is my gear from Phandalin. Brilliant. I've been expecting it. Expecting this afternoon.
We need to finalise this transaction with you so that we can get on to saving and finding Gundren as soon as possible.
Saving Gundren? What do you mean?
His cart was beset by goblins.
Oh my goodness!
We discovered his friend. Do you know Sildar? Are you friends with Sildar too?
The name, I cannot say that name is familiar with me. No.
He's a bit boring. He's a bit boring, you know. You wouldn't want to go for a long journey.
Also more than half dead and currently resting in the Stonehill Inn.
Okay.
We were lucky enough to find him alive, and we have information as to Gundren's whereabouts. We really want to try and find him as soon as possible, but we really kind of need to close up this transaction so that we can get supplies and a room for the night.
Please do. Yeah, I mean, me and Gundren, we go back years now, and more than just business partners. He's a good friend of mine. If anything's happened to him, it would be devastating news. Please, if you have any way of the goblins. I mean, how do you know that he was stolen by goblins? Then, sorry, I was not listening. I was too busy reading the script to remember what I got to be saying to you.
We fought them ourselves.
You fought goblins? Well, you must be tough. This little fella as well.
I just pull out a testicle and just hold it in my palm and just look at him. So I say nothing.
No, thank you. I'm vegan, but thank you all the
same. We did, and especially the little fella. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. You might.
And testicles, apparently.
And testicles.
Whatever floats your boat.
At the moment, we need to find lodging for the night, and we need to find Gundren's brothers. Do you know where they reside?
Oh, well, I mean, they occasionally stay in the town, but they're not here. They were out doing a wreck on this mine that we've discovered. They discovered, but I'm supplying all their dig and everything. They're due back any day. Let me just check. Let me think now. What day is it today? It must be at least. What is it now? Tuesday.
Feels like a Tuesday.
Feels like a Tuesday, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, Nundro and Tharden. Well, when they're out, they camp around town, and then sometimes they come in, and sometimes they don't. But
could you tell us where this mine is at all? Where they're?
The mine, unfortunately, no, I can't. I mean, they approached me about a month or two back about whether or not I could supply all of the gear and everything they need for it, and it's a massive opportunity, of course, and they explained to me that they reckon it's the old lost mine of Phandelver's Pact, which is pretty impressive. It is. Apparently they reckon that they've got legal ownership to it. Their grandfather is mine, or was one of the original owners of the mine or something, and they've got the documents to prove it. Gundren was off to the city to get that all stamped and officiated by Neverember himself. And then here you are, you've got all of the gear for me. So yeah, I mean, absolutely, I'll pay you all, of course. The agreed fee was 40 gold, so I suppose that works out at 10 apiece. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
But
who did you say it was stamped by?
Lord Neverember, the Open Lord of Waterdeep. He's currently residing lordship over Neverwinter too.
And you say they have these papers on them?
Well, I suppose Gundren must have done. I mean, he was the one that was taking care of the paper. Not much of an adventurer. He hasn't really seen a hard day's work in his life, poor lad, even if he is 200. But he does do a good business deal, that's true. That is
200.
Well, he is a dwarf. They do live a very long time, yes.
So is there anywhere in the town where we could possibly find a couple of their close friends? Any acquaintances that we can talk to?
I mean, they might know a couple of people. Stonehill Inn would be the place which I'd highly recommend. You can ask in there, or I mean, you could hang around and see if Nundro and Tharden turn up. But like I was just saying before you interrupted me, they were due back about a 10-day ago. Well, no, sorry, I last saw them about a 10-day ago. 10 days a week in here in this stupid D&D world. Why it's not 7 days, I don't know. But I suppose it makes more sense because then the calendar months fits exactly into 30 days in a month. Is it something like that? It all breaks down into 10s. It's all the same anyway. But whatever. Yeah, I haven't seen about 10-day. But I mean, you say Gundren's been kidnapped by goblins. You don't suppose anything funny's happened to them too, do you?
I think it's connected.
Oh, yeah. Dear. I've got a lot of gold in
It's been gone for a while.
Well,
where do we find Lord Neverember?
He will probably be in the big old keep in Neverwinter City, I suppose, doing lordship duties.
That checks out with like the backstory stuff, I think.
I take it we can stay in your house, Spartan.
You're a funny one, you are there. But I don't think my wife would be liking that too much, no. But
well, it's right, you wouldn't have to stay there as well. It wouldn't be a problem.
Who do you think you are, sir? Queen Elizabeth?
I'm a priest.
Victoria it was. Know. Horrid Histories. My kids have been watching it on the old telly recently. Horrid Histories, and apparently the old, one of the queens, Elizabeth I, used to do that. Just when she was having her shit cleaned out, and she would turn up to somebody's house, kick them out for a month while she waits for her lavatory to be cleaned.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is kind of similar,
not just a D&D show, general knowledge too.
Well, should we head to Stonehill?
I've heard Sleeping Giant's good.
Oh no, I wouldn't go there. No, not if you want to leave with your purse.
Yeah, Stonehill it is, I suppose.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So while this conversation has gone on, he's called over to the two boys that were working around. Is that Ander, Thistle? Yeah, get this cart pulled round back and start getting it offloaded. I know it's late and you were supposed to finish, but I'll give you the extra pay for it. Be a good lad. It can't stay out here all night, otherwise, you know, yeah, something might happen to it with those red cloaks around. You want to just get that put away, will we? Is that everything I can do for you then, chaps and lady chap?
Did you say what might happen with the red coats around?
I heard the red coats.
The red coats? No, this isn't the British Armada, hun. No, this is...
Agadoo might kick off.
I was thinking Butlins,
yeah. Well, maybe, yeah, maybe. See, again, history. I was going straight to the American War of Independence. Was that the red coats or the brown coats? No, brown coats is from Firefly. That's a completely different thing altogether. Yes. Anyway, where were we? The red cloak, or red brands, sorry. The red brands.
Oh, right,
red brands.
Just stay away from them, would be my advice to you.
They're the, have we heard of those? Are they, what?
You've not heard of these before.
Well, speak plainly, Barthen. Who are these red brands?
They're a local mercantile group set up shop here.
They don't do everything by the book, by the sounds of things.
No, they best off just they kind of they've been shaking down all the local businesses for protection money and collecting rents that ain't due and just completely flouting the townmaster's authority. They are. I mean, what little authority he has, I'd say that Helia down at the the Phandalin Miners Exchange. Helia, she runs that. She does a better job than bloody old fucking Harbin Wester does. Townmaster indeed. But you know, he's got the authority. He was voted in democratically, and I suppose we'll have to wait for the next vote in before anybody will be able to get a shot in. But I suppose if nobody wants the job, it will be him again. He's had it the last 2 years now, and despite the fact that he does a fucking shit job.
What was his name again? Harbin what?
Harbin Wester. You do like me making me repeat myself. Maybe you should listen up.
Yeah, maybe it's that shitty weird accent you've got.
Well, this is a local accent. This is what you're talking about. I'd get used to it because this is a country town and everybody talks like this round here.
Proper Wild West.
This is the Wild Wild West, don't you know?
Shall we go rest up at the Stonehill Inn?
Yeah, why not?
The rest would do us all good.
Yes, I think we need it.
We can ask around in there.
Stonehill.
I need a drink. That's
No,
what
just
I'm-
put all our shopping down, put everything down, and just collapse on the bed.
All the shopping down.
Aircon,
Kick off the hills.
aircon on,
So you put milk in the fridge and then.
and we'll go out for paella in the morning.
Paella for in the morning.
Why not, eh?
Interesting choice. Maybe always made it funny, find it funny at festivals and stuff. They've got different world foods, and you get people queuing up for crap like paella for breakfast. And I'm like, just go get a greasy burger and shut up, man. What's that crap? Bacon
Giant
wraps.
Yorkshire pudding. You
That's
just
all
get
you
ready.
want. I actually used to
can't
find
stand paella.
I liked going to like the wrap places because do like a tortilla wrap and you could see them all grilling the chicken and they came with salad in it, so it made you feel like at a festival that you're having something at least
festival.
vague.
Had something.
You got a strand of lettuce.
Yeah. Okay, so you
I
head
pretty
on.
much gave up eating at festivals.
Yeah, just stop because then you have to like shit and no one wants that.
Yeah. No, yeah, with that.
Just
Just want all
survive
your
on your
body
reserves for like
Yeah.
a few days.
When I first started doing it, when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, I used to just cane a load of Imodium before I went.
Yeah.
So I would just
Oh,
completely bung myself up for like 4 days. But by the end of the festival, I'd be so ill. I'd be like, oh, so I got over it.
That's such a terrible idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but then
Back.
back in my early 20s, and I was doing sort of 2 or 3 festivals a year. You kind of got over it eventually. You're just like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. Just take your wet wipes with you and stuff. You're all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's what it
man.
is.
Um,
Anyway, wow.
Stonehill Inn. There we go.
I feel we're all
Little
closer now, though.
Right,
I
Stonehill
think
Inn.
I'll skip dinner in the inn.
Yeah.
So in the centre of town stands a large newly built roadhouse of fieldstone and rough-hewn timbers. As you go in, the common room is filled with locals nursing mugs of ale or cider, and all of them eyeing you with curiosity. There is a man, kind of, looks like he probably runs the place, but he's not really working behind the bar because bar managers never do, and he's got to talk into people. There's a woman kind of working behind the bar, gossiping away at people. Then there's loads of people in the place. You can, for ease, I think they're all humans. I think.
Yeah.
But they're basically
Sildar already arranged for him to have a room and stuff.
yeah. So Sildar, you dropped Sildar off, and he kind of stumbled in and fucked off like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. He's gone
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah. Yeah. So near the guy who you're assuming is, he's kind of, he keeps on stepping behind the bar and getting himself a drink, and his mates a drink, and he'll come back and sit down and stuff. And he's got there's him and a couple of people with him. There's a young boy walking around clearing glasses and taking drinks to tables and things like that. And yeah, there's quite a few people in there. And like I said, there's just a kind of a girl working behind the bar.
Can I walk up to the guy who looks like he owns the place?
You can if you want to go and interrupt a conversation,
anyone
but yeah,
mind?
go for it.
Can we listen in to the conversation?
Yeah, let's all go over.
Let's all go over. Yeah, let's interrupt him.
Just think,
We're
I'll be ready,
over.
with bed in case it kicks off.
We're all going over.
Okay.
To
So
excuse me, sir.
So they're kind of perched on the end of the bar, talking away. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'd just like to go and say, good sir. Hello. Are you the master of this establishment?
Hello. Yes. Hi. Pleasure to pleasure. You know what? I'm from fucking Dagenham, but I can't do an East London accent to save my fucking life.
I was going to say, that guy from Barthen's got here quick, didn't he?
Yeah. Hello, mate.
All right, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, fella. Welcome to Stonehill Inn. I'm off duty tonight, but if you want to grab a drink, Elsa help you out. Oh, Elsa.
Yeah.
Elsa, customers love.
Hello, sweetheart. You all right?
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. What can I get for you, Han?
Oh, really? We're looking for board and obviously a round of drinks, but I'll have an orange juice because I don't drink.
Sure, absolutely. Orange juice. I can do you some water.
Water, can you...
Possibly some apple juice. We've got.
I don't want to know what this
you-
version of
Yeah,
orange juice is.
I'll have some fresh scrumpy. That don't count. I'll have scrumpy.
Yeah, we've got apple juice, lovely, some scrumpy. Yeah. And rooms. It's 4 rooms, or you're going to bunk in together? I mean,
Well,
what's your
I'm a
price?
mercenary. I am not fussy.
you're not far away. All right.
How
Well,
much is How
say
much
no
is
more.
your rooms?
Well, if you give me a second just to check the player's
Yeah,
handbook, and then I'll be able to tell you costs. But it's not a lot. It's basically like a couple of silver or something. Let's just say you've got the money to cover it.
Oh, let's
Can
have a room.
Let's live like kings.
Can
Go
I,
on.
like, just while they're all organising rooms and stuff, sneak off to a corner and start playing the lute for money? Because that's what I do, man.
Yeah, I mean, and there's no music going in the place, so if you want to go and play some music, you can certainly do that.
Can start
Do you have
shredding
an
on my lute.
entertainer's background or a bard? What's your background?
My background's folk hero, I think.
Entertainers, I think, get free
Could we
board.
possibly get? Yeah, well, don't you get free boards? Like, couldn't that be extended to your beautiful buddies?
I don't get it.
No, but if you're going to play here,
No,
you should
so
ask.
if we can
basically,
ask,
if you take the entertainer's background, which you haven't done, you took the investigator. If you take the entertainer's backgrounds, then you've got a special feat where you're so good that you can get work and tend to wangle.
Yeah, I'm not that good.
Instead of getting paid money for your, for it, you get free board and stuff. That's
I don't think I even have proficiency in performance. As a bard, that's pretty bad.
yeah.
But everyone has to listen to me anyway.
That's cool.
Couple of silver or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really not a lot. Really not a lot.
What should we say? 10 silver for everyone.
Well, 2 silver each for bed and breakfast. Seems reasonable.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks very much. Did everyone?
Take it.
I see you haven't done the drinks yet.
Oh yeah, as you've been deciding whether you want a room or not, she's been sorting that out for you.
Worst customer ever.
Oh, there you go. Next page. Drink
Thank
and
you
lodging.
for sorting all that out. Also, you're still not doing our drinks.
She's done it for
It's
you.
all right.
Multitasking, love.
Yeah, well, you've been chatting about whether you wanted to have a room or not. She's done it.
Could I ask her a question
You certainly can.
whilst we're here? Hello, lady. I was just wondering. We're here. We've just done some work for a fellow named Gundren. He's a good friend of ours. And we owe him some money for a job that we've just completed. Do you know where we could possibly find him? Does he reside in this town? Does he have a house here, or a room that he stays in?
Gundren.
We'd love to catch up with him.
Well, I can't say the name rings a bell. What? Toblin? He's like, yeah. He's like, you know a fella named Gundren? Gundren? What does he look like?
Anyone?
Short fella.
I've not met him.
Short fella, well, couple of
Short fella.
arms.
About my height.
Short dwarf then.
Short dwarf. I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean,
For a
Burr,
gnome, he's
sure.
huge.
Burr, well, any of the other 3 would be able to describe him. Burr certainly would, because they're like 7 cousins, once removed or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's like, well, kind of rings a bell. A couple of brothers.
Yeah, that's the
I
one.
believe that's the one.
Well, I've probably not seen him now in quite a few weeks. About a month or 2 back, they were all here. They'd spent a couple of days here, and they were doing some planning and stuff. They were prospectors, I suppose. Many people come through the town like that, come and go, talking of gold, and then never see him again. Yeah, I remember they seemed quite excited. I think they said that they had a meeting with Barthin. Maybe you better want to go talk to Barthin up at the shop just on the edge of town.
Oh yeah. We know.
Yeah, we've met him.
Nah, sorry. then.
So they don't live here then?
No, certainly don't live here. Nah. I mean, I don't know everybody in town, but you kind of recognise. There's not many dwarves living in this town. I'll be honest. In fact, can't think of it. There's no dwarves living in this town, as far as I'm aware. We might have to retcon that later, but we'll see.
Well, there's lots of places we can ask in the morning. We've got a miners' exchange, which wouldn't probably know about any mine and how to get to it.
Yeah, the mine. So yeah, if you've got any goods, if you've been out in the hills scavenging and you found anything, then take it down the miners' exchange. They keep a record of everything going on in there. They'll tell you what it's worth and how occasionally they'll take a few bits off your hands, sort of like a bank, but not really quite. But if you want to be registered in the area to go and do any digging or kind of mining or anything, that's the place you want to go. Yeah, definitely. So, Hadia would definitely have a record if they've been doing that in the area. That's a good idea, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Do you know where we'll find Harbin Wester?
This time of night, probably asleep. But he doesn't. He's a bit job shy. So during the day, probably in the inn. Not in the inn, sorry, in the hall, town hall.
All right. Well, long rest. Anyone?
Yeah. So
Short rest. Long rest.
Yeah. I'll
so
down my cider.
You're just going to spend the rest of the evening kind of. You're just going to go to
Eat a
bed, or you're
bit.
going to.
Is anyone in the bar paying attention to my performance at all?
I turn around.
Okay,
and clap
roll
at the end of-
roll me a performance.
Just want to know if I should go to bed or should stay up and entertain the masses. 19.
Nice.
That's pretty
19
good.
people. That's quite a lot.
That's not bad. So it's
She
definitely
plays
quite a good one. And yeah, people seem to like it. And
I'll stay for my encore before I go to bed, and then I'll...
nobody minds. Yeah, pick up
Can
people sing
I,
along,
do
and people will start offering to buy you some drinks and stuff for it. No one's giving you any money.
Yeah.
You're not, it's not the kind of place where they're going to just let you busk in there and give you money. But people enjoy
I'm
it.
happy.
Can I do a dance to try and get people involved?
Absolutely, you can roll me.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, probably a performance again, to be honest. Definitely a charisma. Yeah, do a charisma check.
+5. Charisma check, yeah.
Yeah, so if you've got performance, then do that because you've got.
yeah.
I think you've got proficiency in an instrument as well, from what I remember.
Yeah, 20. So I got +5, 20. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Could I also roll a persuasion check
For what?
aimed at Lisa? I just want to shout from the back of the bar,
Blow
"Sex
Freebird!"
on fire!"
Sex on fire.
I'm
So
currently...
I've started breakdancing.
I was going to say I'm currently doing the Macarena, and then Burr's like, it's like,
Sweet.
read the room, dude, read the room.
Yeah, cool, absolutely. With those roles, there's some good roles. So your performance is brilliant. Whatever you're
There's a
playing throughout
party
the night,
happening.
yeah, people definitely cheer up. And these random strangers, not the first time random travelling minstrels have turned up. And some people buy you some drink. You end up talking around the town, not the town, the room. It gets pretty late, and some people start clearing out. So at some point throughout the evening, you do hear like a little bit of a heated conversation, which does get hushed out by Toblerone, what the fuck his name is. And there's a little bit of a conversation going on between a couple of the regulars, and he pipes in and kind of encourages them to hush down a little bit. So you hear some talk from a lady talking to some of the other regulars, and she says, "What happened to Theldendrar? It's just ridiculous. Something's got to be done round here, He stood up to them just a week ago, didn't he? 10 days ago. Murdered in broad daylight. And that bloody townmaster, whatever he calls himself, doesn't do nothing. They just get away with it." And there's this conversation going on about, and he says, now you'll never guess what. His wife, daughter and son have all gone missing too. And then from that, then you hear Toblerone, and he kind of tells her to hush up, basically. So come on now. Shouldn't be talking about this kind of stuff in the tech stuff. You get us in trouble. We've done well, we won't be having any of that. It's not stir up trouble. We don't want them coming around here. We don't want a repeat of that. All right, just pipe down. And that's kind of the gist of the conversation that you overhear.
That's those red people, whatever they are.
Sounds like it.
I'm going to butt in. Excuse me. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help overhearing it. Did you say someone was murdered 10 days ago?
Yeah, and then the lady pipes up again. You might have got her name throughout the evening. Her name's Trilena, and yeah, she's Toberin's wife. And she says, yeah, Theldrar, he was a local wood carver, had a good little stall in here. He stood up to a bunch of these hooligans, these red brands, they call themselves. They came round his shop, started leering at his wife, so he told them to get lost. Next thing you know, they pull their sword, run him through. Loads of people saw it happen, apparently, but nothing got done about it. They just carried his body off, no evidence. And next thing you know, no one can push charges because all of a sudden his wife and daughter and son have gone missing too. Assume they've probably done a runner up to Neverwinter. But
And the town master's not acknowledged this at all.
Nothing's been done about it. It was a good week ago now. As far as I'm aware, there's no one sitting in these cells. But then who's gonna stand up to him? They are the local authority.
I look directly at Scapes.
Yeah. Well,
I am the law.
Sorry, John Dredd.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, they obviously taking their law into their own hands, aren't they? So.
And this
Someone's
Harbin
not
Wester
doing-
fella's not doing anything about it.
Yeah, someone's definitely not doing their job.
Yeah. I think we need to investigate. Well, the thing is, we've got to find Gundren, though, haven't we? Have we really got time for it?
I think it may even be connected in some way.
Yeah, 10 days ago, a week ago, they left, and that's when this happened. That's what I'm curious about.
Gundren's definitely our number one priority.
Well, we'll ask in the morning. We'll head over to Town Masters Hall. I think that's where we're going anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And and the miners' exchange, and we'll see what's what.
Cool.
I do my last shot of whiskey and fuck off to bed.
Sweet.
Yeah, let's get some sleep.
Sane.
And scene.
All right, so that's a little over an hour we've been going now. So let's take our first break here. Good bit of role playing, guys. Thank you. It's all of you, especially you new guys. It's really good to see that going on. So anybody in the let's check the chat before we go. See if there's anything.
They've all left.
No, they're all there. Let's see. They've been chatting away, so I've not been ignoring you guys. It's just difficult to kind of. I'm trying my arse off to wing this as much as I can, so trying to concentrate on this as well, which is something else I can't do.
Smash it.
Let's have a look. They've been chatting away. There's a massive conversation on there. Flak 38 randomly pulls out testicle, laughing face. Puck would fit it in with any of the games Puck would fit in with any games I've run. It's not 7 days because of metric when it's about me talking about the days of the week. La 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 la. I'm pretty sure every DM has a country bumpkin farmer voice, and it's always fairly Bristolian. The Redcoats led by Major Richard Sharp. Wait, Redcoats? British Armada? Redcoats is Civil War era army, not Navy. Who knows? That's it. They're mostly just chatting to themselves and making fun of us, but not a whole lot. It's without going through it and reading it word for word. It's kind of hard to get the gist of it. But cool. So thank you, everyone. We're going to take a 5-minute break, have a fag, have a loo, get a drink, top up, come back, and hopefully we can kill some people before we finish for the night, because that's what we're all here for, is to roll some dice. So stay where you are, please. Otherwise, thank you for joining us.
The D&D show would like to thank Sword Coast Soundscapes on YouTube for the music and sound effects used in this recording. Find him on Twitter at Sword Coast Sounds. Also, a massive thank you to Lewis Gale for producing our amazing theme tune. Follow him on Twitter at LewisSW Gale. Lastly, from all of us here at the D&D show, thank you for downloading this podcast. You're breathtaking. See you in part 2.